Hello everyone, it's God's Moon here. Today we're going to be learning about God. I have a book suggested for you guys. It's called All About God. And it basically is what it means to be a Christian. 50 Faith Building Devotions for Kids. And it's by Mary Rose Pearson. So I will pick the first devotion, and it is that God is real. Now, Psalm 19 verses 1 through 3 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard." This is New King James Version. So let's read the first chapter. Is there a real God? Well, Romans 1:20 says, "Since earliest times men have seen the earth and sky and all that God made, and have known his existence and great eternal power. So they will have no excuse when they stand before God at Judgment Day." TLB version. Now, Joshua is a character in the book. So it says here, Joshua smiled as he hurried home from church. He could hardly wait for some of Mom's fried chicken. He met Mike. "You've been to church, haven't you?" asked Mike. "Why do you bother? There isn't any God, you know." Now we're going to stop right there. Romans 1:20 says, "Since the earliest times men have seen the earth and sky and all that God made, and have known his existence and great eternal power." So if he's saying that, that means that he knows there's a God, but he's not really sure. Let's keep reading. "Sure there is a God," said Joshua. "Prove it," challenged Mike. "You can't see, hear, or touch him." Joshua didn't know what to say. He did believe in God. But how could he prove that God is real? Hold on. There is a way that you can prove God is real. You can ask, who created the earth? Mike would not have been able to answer that. Then Joshua could have said that if no one created the earth, who did? So he would say that there was a God that was never created. He was always there. Let's keep reading. "I don't know what to tell you now, but I'm going to find out," he said. That afternoon, at Grandpa's farm, Joshua said, "Grandpa, Mike said today that there isn't any God. I know he's wrong, but I couldn't prove it." "How do you know God is real?" Grandpa took Joshua out the barn, reaching into a bin. Grandpa picked out a kernel of corn. "Tomorrow I'm going to plant this seed," he said. Let's just imagine that it can talk. It says, "I'm going to become a big stalk with long green leaves and as many ears of golden, juicy kernels of corn. Each kernel will be just like me." "Why?" I wouldn't answer. "Why? How could... You could never do that. Look at you. You're just one tiny, hard kernel. How are you going to change yourself like that?" "Oh," says the kernel, I'll tell the sun to shine down and warm the earth. Then, and give me light I need to grow. I'll ask the world to turn so I don't get much done. I'll make the summer stay here long enough for me to finish my task. Of course, I'll call on the clouds to send rain. I'll choose minerals from the earth to help me. Then, with my power, I'll cause a little plant to burst out of my hard shell, push its way through the earth, and begin to grow on top of it. Joshua laughed. That wouldn't be a very that would be a very silly little kernel, wouldn't it? He said. It has no power of its own to change itself into a big stalk of corn. Yet someday I expect to become a tall I expect to become a tall stalk with big green leaves and many ears of golden juicy kernels, Grandpa declared. How can that be? I can't do anything but the plant seed and water it. But plant the seed and water it. The the smartest scientist can't bring a plant out of this seed, and certainly the little kernel has no power to cause a plant to burst forth from its hard shell. Joshua grinned. Yeah, he said. Without all those things, that kernel might as well be a yellow glass bead. Right, agreed Grandpa. There is only one source of all that power, God himself. Then, just then a hen cackled and left her nest. Grandpa picked up her egg, saying, only God can give that hen ability to form this egg, which could either be your breakfast or a safe, warm home of a developing chick. Look all about you, Joshua. All that you see in nature is God's creation. Plainly tell us God is up there. Why didn't I think of that? Asked Joshua. I'm going to find some more ways to know God is real too. When I tell them to Mike, I bet you then that he'll believe in him. So this is what we're going to be discussing. So is there a God? Well, it says that in Romans 1:20 it says, since the earliest times, men have seen the earth and sky and all that God's made, and have known his existence and agreed to the power. So I'm pretty sure that means that there is a God, and they know there is, but they're just not wanting to budge. There's lots of evolutionists in this world, and think that human beings came from soup in the beginning of the earth. So, if we came from soup, then formed bones and then turned into monkeys? That sounds dumb. But if we were to see it from another perspective, in the Bible, says in Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So evolutionists think that the earth slowly developed into an earth. Well, maybe that could be true, but evolutionists think it took thousands and thousands of years when it only took 7 days. In Genesis 2 says, the seventh day God rests. So the Bible proves that it only takes 7 days to create for him to create the earth. So I think we got that part down. Now, how can you know for sure if there's a God? Well, the Bible tells us from Genesis to Revelation that he's going to come back. And he's going to come back and he's resurrected us from the dead. So, that means that you can be positive, if you believe in the Bible, that this big book right here tells you everything. And that's how you can know for sure that God is real. Next question. What proofs did Grandpa give to Joshua that God exists? Well, Grandpa gave to Joshua that he gave an example of a tiny corn kernel. Hard shell, it has a hard shell. All Grandpa can do is plant it in the soil and water it. But God, he can turn the earth, he can make it rain, and he can give the nutrients the corn kernel needs to grow its beautiful stalk. And many ears full of golden juicy kernels. So that pretty much also proves that God is real. If without God, the long noodle kernel wouldn't exist. Because the earth wouldn't turn, it wouldn't even exist. Next question. A person could make a yellow glass bead and plant it. Would it grow into a stalk of corn? Well, not exactly. You need water, minerals, sun, and soil for that. Only people, mankind, can only give soil, plant it, and give it water. But it needs to. But corn kernels need sun. So how would they get sun if human can't make the earth turn? Also, the kernel, if human could make the earth turn, the kernel would need a little bit of sun, not a lot. They wouldn't be able to turn it 24/7. I mean, if there were like big machines that turn the earth around, that'd be amazing. We can imagine what we can do with the earth. But it's not 2035 yet, so we can't be jumping ahead to conclusions. And the last question to discuss. What would be missing? I think we already went over that. But just to recap, we would need the earth to turn, and we would need a little bit of sun for the kernel to grow. We need water for it, and we need minerals for the soil. So sun and water, and too much sun would be missing. Well, enough sun and water. Too much sun wouldn't be missing because the earth wouldn't turn. So the corn kernel would just burn in the soil. That seems cruel. So we're going on to to-do. This is our to-do list for tonight. It says, today, take time to notice the things in nature that only God could have made. Write down a list of these on a piece of paper. So that's my homework assigned to you. Or if you want to do it, I mean, you don't have to. And to pray. Thank God for making our world. Ask Him to help you see nature and many reasons to believe in Him. So eventually Joshua will, hopefully, be able to prove to Mike that God is real. I'm Gosmoon, and I'll see you next time.